This is a Stock Trading Reality Podcast, episode 213.
I've always thought I'm in control of myself. Not until I started my first day trading.
This is the Stock Trading Reality Podcast, where you get to see the realistic side of a trader's journey. Get inspired and stay motivated by everyday normal people who are currently on their journey to trading success. And this is your host. People who talk trash to chatbots really confuse him. Clay Trader.
I just don't get it. If you think it's a bot, that's fine. It very well may be a bot. But why are you taking time out of your day to just start to talk trash? Like pick a fight with something that's a bot. I mean, some of the stuff I see, and then when I reply back, they're like, oh, sorry, I thought it was a bot. It's like, okay, but still, why exactly did you take time out of your day to type some of it can be quite blunt, quite not exactly G-rated, but I mean, it's still, even if it wasn't, even if it was G-rated, you thought it was a bot though. Why? Let me put it this way. There's lots of people out there that apparently need some time management classes, some time management mentoring. Maybe I should put together a course on time management, because that is a huge red flag in the time management department. If you think something is just a bot and then you're taking time to talk trash to it. Now, if you think it's a bot or don't know and you're asking a question or whatever, that's totally different. But to talk trash, I don't know. The world confuses me at times. Our guest today, or tonight, whenever you listen to this, I recorded it today, is awesome. Talk about another data point of somebody who just does what needs to be done, doesn't throw up excuses, and is just making things happen. Perhaps the most extreme case we've had, and I'll let the spoiler out of the bag. He's from Lebanon, his family's in Lebanon, but he's in Canada, and he's just absolutely beast moding it in Canada, and he eventually wants to get back to Lebanon, understandably, where his wife and family is. But I mean, and I say this, within the interview, but as somebody that is a father of 4 kids, I don't know how that feels, because I've never done that. All I can do is imagine, and that's got to be miserable. But here this guy is just doing what he needs to do to make things happen. And if you take nothing else away from this discussion, and this is a longer one, but I mean, it was a great time. If you take nothing else from it, look in the mirror. Is your excuse really an excuse? I mean, are you sure? Are you sure? Or are you just maybe trying to play a little bit of the victim card? I'm guilty too. I like to try to maybe pull out a victim card but I'm not perfect at it, but to the best of my ability, I also always am trying to question, Clay, is this really something that you should be kind of complaining about? So like I said, if you take nothing else away from it, this is the mentality that it takes to be a trader. And even just putting the trading stuff aside, this is the mentality that it has to get things done and to just make life happen. It's amazing how when you have this sort of mentality, opportunity just kind of starts to show up randomly. It's not random, but you create it. But I don't want to go any further. Like I said, just finish up with it. Awesome interview with Zach. He goes by the same name in the chat room, ZAK, all caps. So some of you community members maybe have interacted with him. But let's get to it. I'm very, very confident you're going to enjoy this discussion. Zach, welcome to the show.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And, well, first off, you volunteered to be here, so I truly thank you for that. It makes my life much easier instead of having to track people down. So thank you for replying to the email that I sent out. And then also, thank you for taking time. For listeners' context, we are recording this on a Saturday afternoon, so I appreciate you taking time out of your weekend to hang out. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. And yes, I'm doing this for myself, honestly.
Well, hey, that's if we can all benefit, then I think that's a definition of a good deal, a win-win for both parties. So I'm all for that without doubt. Now, I'm pretty sure I've seen you in the chat room. Are you the Zach in the chat room? Is that your alias in there?
That's me.
Okay, so I have a little bit of context. Now, I feel like you're still relatively new. Is that also accurate or no?
It is accurate.
Okay, when did you actually join up?
I joined in the beginning of January 3rd, with the
Okay,
trainers.
and I thought that you're relatively new, so that does make sense, and we'll catch up to all that. But let's just I don't know that for listeners' sake. I know very little of Zach other than the fact that I've recognized his name in the chat room a few times. But besides that, you are getting. I mean, this is as real as it gets. You're just a fly on the wall, and Zach and I are sitting down, in a coffee shop or wherever you want to pretend that we're sitting down, and let's see how this all plays out. But where did it all start for you? Where did you hear about the markets? What got you interested enough to eventually kind of want to get more hands-on with it?
It was in early October, 1st of October, or maybe early October, late September. The reason is I'm separated from my family. I have a family in Lebanon, wife and kids. And when I when I came from Lebanon in late September, I just went online and I said I need help, and I started searching. I need help. I need a job to be able to do it in Lebanon. And one of the things that popped out, it was the stock market, and it caught my attention. Start watching YouTubes, and you're one of the channels that I actually followed, and I got really convinced in this, and I actually even called just to see if it's legit, because I've been scammed before. I called the banks and I called this, and is this something? Is this something really? And it turned out to be, because I had a bad experience before with online stuff.
Are you willing to share about the bad experience? I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually related to stocks as well. I got a call. It was a number. I live in Alberta, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. But it was a call from Europe, London, and the guy was telling me, you know what, we are a stockbroker, and we would like people to join, and it only costs you $250, and we can help you, and it's binary, and this. I didn't understand it at first, but what came up to my mind, I said, I can afford $250, but I put a condition on him. I said, listen, you're gonna teach me, right? It's not something like I don't want to. He's like, yeah, we'll teach you the whole thing, and we'll teach you how to do it. And so I deposited 200. They opened an account, and I deposited $250. And it was binary, and I never knew about any of this. So I just because it's only $250, I said, okay, I can play with, and I might be able to learn. And that was like 2 years ago. So a guy kept calling me from Europe, and we'll arrange a meeting and a time to talk. And yeah, he'll call me and he'll tell me, okay, you'll buy a put here and a call here and there with Apple, with the gold, with this. But I didn't understand much. I started making a little bit of money in my account. So I thought was, that works. But I'm not the type of person. I don't follow anybody. I really wanna learn, right? So I asked the gentleman that was helping me that I want to learn, and he's like, well, dude, you don't have enough money in your account for me to invest time in you to teach you. So I got nailed. He told me, like, deposit $1,000 and I'll start teaching you. So I thought about it at first, and I said, you know what, but this is something I can do while with my family, like, go back to my family, and I can be doing this there. And I deposited the $1,000.
Well, I don't blame you. I mean, I feel like you're probably the prime person that they're looking for, that has the noblest of intentions at heart. You just want to help your family and you just want to do what's best.
Yes.
And I mean, so I don't think that's stupid at all, really. I mean, when you don't know what you don't know and you're that new and you have those intentions that you have, if your intention was, I just want to make money so I can buy a Lamborghini, I'd be like, okay, well, I really don't feel that bad for you. But I mean, when your intentions were what they were, it's, yeah, I can see how that'd sound really good. And this was all the binary options, though. That's what this guy was saying he would teach you.
Yes.
And do you have any idea where he got your number from?
No.
That's very bizarre. And
Well,
how long did this all go on for?
Well, it went. Okay, so what happened? I deposited $1,000, and he kept calling me and telling me put here and call here, and it turned from $1,000 to $1,500 within a month. But I told him, listen, my friend, I really need to learn this, right? And he always postponed. Yeah, we'll sit and learn. You know, you need more money sometimes. This. Well, I said I can't put any more money, so I start telling him, listen, that's all I have, and that's all I can put. And one time I tried to, on the system, I tried to actually pull out some money, take some money back, right? And I put an execution, and it gets refused. Yeah. It gets refused, and again it gets refused, and I start talking to the chat and the support line, and no one answering me. And then I got hold a guy from Toronto. He claims to be from Toronto. It was a Toronto number. Actually, no, sorry, it was a London number, but he told me he's from Toronto, but their main office in London, England. So he called. I told him, listen, this is my money. I want my money. You know what? The gain that I made, I don't want them. I want my money, right? So he allowed me to pull back $250, and like as if I'm begging him to take my money. And once I did that execution and I got $250, the guy that was training me, he told me, well, see, it's legitimate now, but if you put $10,000, I'll be fully with you on a daily basis, teaching you how to trade. I knew it was a scam. That I said no way in hell I'm doing this. Even I don't have the 10,000, but even if I had it, I'm not doing this. I for some reason I felt that they're sucking me in. That's why they gave me the 250. So when I said no, they cut off my account and I lost the whole thing.
Wow. Yeah, amazing how it went from 250 to 1,000, and then all of a sudden 10,000.
Yeah.
That's that. Wow. Now, why was he even calling and telling you what to do in the first place? Was he making some sort of commission or something off this?
Yes, he said I'm making commission. So the more we win, the more. And I told him, listen, with that $1,000, like, if you keep growing it, because he said the more money that we can trade with, the more commission. You're wasting my time. Basically, he's telling me, like, right now you're wasting my time because it's not enough, right? And the more you put, the more I can make commission. Then I can invest time in you, and it's sent logically. But at the same time, I told him, well, win as much as you can, and I'm not going to touch the money. Just keep winning, right? If you don't want to teach me, I don't want to put more money. So like he wouldn't teach me. So whatever. Yeah.
Well, I commend you for wanting to learn, because a lot of people are basically the exact opposite of what you would be demanding. Whereas, yeah, this is great. Some guy just calls me, tells me what to do, and everybody's happy. So that's great that you have always wanted to learn. But clearly they found, all right, well, how can we use this, to get more money out of you? And that's what they did. But I mean, like I said, all your intentions were definitely the noblest. I'm wanting to help my family. I want to learn. But that's still weird. Where they got your number from? I mean, I guess we'll never know that. But and you said this was a couple years ago when all this happened.
Yeah, and they even closed their website. The whole thing is closed. It's shut down. Like I don't have access for anything anymore. So
So pretty much confirmation it was a total scam then.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I guess let's look at it as the glass is half full. I mean, you could have sent them $10,000 and you didn't do that. So I mean, from that perspective, it's not as bad as what it could have been.
Yes.
But all right. Well, that happened, and I'm assuming that did that maybe kind of turn you off from the market, or where did things go from there in your journey after they cut you off from your account?
No, I just kept working. I originally have 2 jobs, and I work like sometimes up to 16 hours a day. So, and
what do you do?
I manage a nonprofit organization in the morning, and at night I drive a cab, a taxi driver.
I love it. And managing a nonprofit, and then at night you put on your superhero costume and you're driving a cab around. That's you're just no excuses, huh? You're just doing what needs to be done.
Yes, I'm a hard worker. I know I am, and even though I have an education background, I have a college college diploma in computers and software development that I got back in 2004. But the market wasn't really good at that time, and then it crashed in 2008. So I ended up without work, so I had to do something else. Yeah.
What did you get I know you said you got your degree in computer stuff. Are you computer science major or computer engineering, or what was the degree?
It's called CST, Computer Systems Technology, but my major is in software development.
Okay. And you got that back in Lebanon?
No, in Canada.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, there's no doubt about it. You're a hard worker, and I also admire your humility. I can see a lot of people saying, I have a college degree, I'm not driving a cab, but you just are like, no, I'm going to do what needs to be done. And that's awesome. That is a great example that inspiring to me and to you as listeners out there listening. Hey, there's no excuses. Go out there and do what needs to be done. If you have some sort of goal, then just go out and do. I don't care. I don't care if you have a college degree. I don't care if you don't have a college degree. But Zach, you're a great example of what it takes to just to kind of throw those excuses aside and press forward. So you are working, like you said, and you just are super busy. What eventually brought you back to the stock market?
So, as I said, last September, I
so it was. I do remember. I promise, Zach, I was paying attention. I remember you saying that. So it was just a matter of what more can I do to help out your family. So you started to hop online and start to just run searches for ways to make money online, something similar to that.
Yes, says I want to be able to do something, an online job that I can do from anywhere in the world. That's basically what I typed on Google. And one of the things that popped out was the stock trading. Of course, I was extremely skeptical because of the past experience. Yeah. But
I totally understand. And in fact, I would call you an idiot if you were not skeptical. I would say, wait a second, how are you not just skeptical? And I'm sure you probably saw some pretty crazy stuff out there when you started to do those searches. And did you have any idea at all? Or let me ask it this way. So you found the stock market, like you said. Did you find any other areas that maybe you thought of that you could do online, or was it pretty much you just want to do the stock market, or there's other areas that Proclaim could make you money online that you also thought about?
There is other areas, but most of them would require me to be here in Canada. So, for example, I also found the online stores, so I can build up my own online store where like I'm the middleman. People can purchase off my website, and someone would actually ship it and get it there. But there's a lot you have to promote your product and your website, and blogs and so that was another option. I didn't know how legitimate it was, but I've noticed that you have to make some sort of payment first. So that got me more skeptical. So I said, no, I'm not falling into that again. No more payments first. You know, so I went and I actually asked a few. I know there's stockbrokers, but I never knew that it is something that we can do it on our own. I've always thought it's just the banks. It's just the banks. They have a stockbroker. You can go and they can advise you buy a stock here and there. But I never knew that existed, that you can do something on your own. Like, I mean, even though I have a computer background, and it's really weird that it never came up. That I never bumped into someone that does stock trading. I have one of our community members. He's a stock broker. So, and I didn't reach out to him, but what I did, I went. My bank account is with TD Bank, so I went to TD Bank and I said, "Listen, what is this?" And they said, "Yeah, it's legitimate, and we have a brokerage account, and you can open an account with us." Of course, they tried to suck me in.
Right.
Yeah, but I went along. I opened an account, but that's when I started feeling, okay, you know what, this is more legitimate. At least, like, I can sue them if they if they screw up with me. So what I did is I went and to, I don't know if you guys have that in America, Kohl's bookstore, and I went and searched for every book that has to do with trading, and I bought them all. And I read them all. And then I went to Indigo bookstore, and I also searched for all the books that, I didn't have, and I read them all. So I pretty much read roughly around, like, maybe I would say maybe 18 books about stock trading.
So you're go ahead.
Yeah, go. And at the same time, I was watching YouTube about people making money and some YouTube channels. So I felt comfortable. It's a legitimate thing.
Okay, so I'm trying to think. You said back September, October-ish is when you got, you ran the searches, and then you found, okay, I want to do the stock market, and then you said you went to TD and you realized, oh wow, this. First off, I should know, I was like you. I mean, I grew up in the computer age, and I grew up with an engineering degree, so I've always been around numbers, but I know what you mean. It's from when I was like, wait a second, I can actually do this all on my own. Like, are you sure? And the first time I was doing it, it almost felt like, I don't know if is this quite legal. I feel like I need to have like some sort of, like you said, some banker or somebody holding my hand and guiding me through everything. But no, none of that was needed. So I definitely know what you mean in that regard. But so we're given right now, for listeners' context sake, we are recording this in mid-February. So if you got started in, we'll call it September, October, and now it's, mid-February, that's really only about 4.5 months. So you must be a really fast reader then, or, I mean, were you, because it sounds like you read a whole lot of books, and I mean, were you able to retain all that, or did you overwhelm yourself with all the information that you're kind of throwing at yourself?
I did at first. Some days I would read a whole book in one day. And I'd carry my book around. Even in my cabbing time, any pause time, I'd turn on the light in the cab, and I would read until I get a trip. As soon as it's done, I'd turn the light again and read until I get another trip. And I'd do it over, and I'd even go home and sit in my bed and continue reading. I did it a lot. Like, I consider myself, I don't want to, but I consider myself, I'm a very committed student.
I don't doubt that for a second. when you're reading an entire book a day, and then when you're reading on the job, and then when you're reading when you get home. I mean, that is the epitome of commitment. And still, though, I feel like, I mean, I guess we'll continue on with the journey. So you're reading all these books, you're watching all these YouTube videos. Did you end up opening up an official account and funding it, or where did things go after you had been consuming all this knowledge and from the books and such?
Okay, so I'll tell you about the books. I know. It seems like, oh, he read a whole book in one day. Um, um, all books that I read, most of them are kind of repetitive. So there's a skill that I've been taught in school of how to scan read and read fast. And at first I was really going into a lot of details, but once you're reading another book and it's telling you about the same thing, you'd scan it more than you detail read it. I don't know if that makes sense. But and then things start sinking into my head along with the videos that I'm watching. But anyhow, after that I did open an account with TD Bank, and they have their own application that I didn't use. They had a 1 month free trial, and I didn't like it at all. So I downloaded Think or Swim platform. I started learning, online, learning. There's that platform. There's that platform. So I downloaded Think or Swim, and I downloaded a demo account. Okay. And I started trading demo account. But I ran into a big problem in Canada here. I don't know, because I called the U.S. department. They told me that it's not in the U.S., but in Canada, that's the way it is. They wouldn't give me life quotes. I'm not talking about level 2. I'm talking about, like, if you're purchasing or testing a plan, the prices are delayed 20 minutes. And you'd think you're buying somewhere, and you're actually, like, the chart, it's delayed 20 minutes, so you're buying somewhere, but the actual price is somewhere else. So it got me really confused. And I thought I had a problem.
And that's the thing where, I mean, that's a funny story, and thank you for telling it. It's just the good old delayed data. But that's one of the things you'll never really get out of a book. I don't know. Perhaps a book mentioned you got to be aware of delayed data. But it's just one of those little small things out there that does make a big difference, because you're absolutely right. If you're trying to put together some sort of trade and plan something out, and then all of a sudden one bit of data is real time or something else is giving you data from another time, that's going to throw things off. And for listeners out there, Zach, I mean, this is a very real thing. So if you don't know what Zach's referring to, always be sure, because a lot of platforms, a lot of demos, a lot of simulators, whatever you want to call them, what you see is not necessarily what is actually occurring. It could be delayed, meaning, what you see happened 15 minutes ago. And that's not very valuable if you're trying to get a real world experience. Where some people, they'll give you data right now. This is what's occurring right now. Or in trading lingo, that's real-time data. So you'll have real-time data. But if you don't understand and don't understand about delayed data, meaning stuff that happened 15 minutes ago or 20 minutes ago, then you're gonna be so confused, because wait, why is this tool looking like that, but I look over here at this screen and that's a totally different number? I mean, so that could be one of those things that may happen, but now that you're aware of it, it's a very real thing. And I mean, Zach, it's not like Zach's not intelligent for it. It happens all the time, and it's a very real problem out there. So be aware of it and make sure you don't get stuck in that trap. So I mean, and TD, they want to give you the real time data. I mean, sometimes I feel like the brokers, if you just even deposit a little bit of money into their account, they'll give you real time data, but they weren't even willing to do that for you.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, Think or Swim. Um, for Canadians, they will not open an account unless it's a margin account, and that's the rule for Canada. And I don't want to open a margin account. I don't want to be involved in interest in get myself, because I listened to your videos. I listened to a lot of, I would say maybe there's successful traders out there that they all said, do not get into that game, especially when you're new, especially when you don't know, especially. So I said, well, I can't do this. So I started looking around for another uh, type of trading. Now, the banks, they have trading platforms, but it's not for day traders. It's not really it's not really good for day traders. So, and they say it. I actually called them and they said, you know what? No, we don't have this. We don't have that. Um, Things that you mentioned in your videos, like um, uh, quick executions and stuff. They don't have all this. I don't know. I maybe didn't do enough research, maybe, but I bumped into Quest Trade. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I have, yeah. They're,
It's
I think, well, I don't know if we've had members in the past use them. I don't know if they're still using them, but yeah, they're pretty popular up in Canada. So I have heard of them.
Yeah. So I downloaded a demo account with them too, and I had the same problem. A demo account, they delayed it's delayed data. So I called them up and they said, well, open a real account and pay $89, so $90 a month for real time data. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't find any groups in Canada that actually like in the US. Like, I mean, in US there are groups that work together in this. I don't know in Canada there. I don't know. I just didn't bump into my research, and every time I try to research it, it's American groups. And you know what? I said, heck with it. I'll go with the American groups. Why not? They know what they're doing, but I don't have the same platform that they do. So um, just to rewind back. So, anyways, they told me to open a real account and pay the $90 a month. So I said, I thought about it. I said, well, okay, it seems legitimate company, Questrade. I did research on it, so I opened an account and I told them I want real data, and that was December 1st, okay, of 2018, and I did actually download their real platform, but in order for me to trade on their demo and this, I didn't know how to manage it well because I'm in very newbie to that. So especially when it comes to the platforms, so I couldn't know how to trade with the demo account while having the actual other charts. Like, I mean, it was really confusing for me, especially at the beginning. I know maybe you'd look at it, Clay, and you'd say, "Oh, it's a piece of cake for you," but it was new for me, so I didn't go that path. I said, you know what, I'm gonna deposit money into my account, and I also listened. It's money that I can afford to lose. Okay, so I had
That is good. At least it's not any sort of money required for your bills or anything like that. So that's good for sure.
yeah. So I did deposit $2,600. And I'll be honest with you, as much as I read and as much as I read books and I watched webinars and I watched YouTube videos, I thought, okay, I think I'm good. I'm good to trade. And yes, I know I'm gonna bump into hiccups here or there or into walls, but I think I can manage on my own right now. And that's the thoughts that I had. Um, so I started trading. December 14 was my first trade.
And
And
what was your strategy? I mean, did you think that what was the goal? Were you planning on being in and out of trades in the same day? Did you want to hold
yes,
overnight? but I mean, what actually was your strategy going into that first trade? Or maybe at least what did you think your strategy was based on all these books and all the webinars and all the YouTube videos you had been watching? I mean, or let me ask it this way. If a friend would have come up and said, okay, Zach, I mean, what kind of trader are you? What is your goal here? How would you have, described yourself and your strategy at that point?
Okay, I knew from the beginning I wanted to be a day trader. Okay, and my strategy, I wanted to go along with the gap and go strategy with momentum trading, and I knew that at the time, but it's not as easy as it was in my head. And I've always thought, Clay, that I'm a person that I can control my feelings. I've always thought that. I mean, like I run a non-profit organizations. I have people with all sort of problems that I need to fix for them and help. And I've always thought I'm in control of myself. Not until I started my first day trading.
I understand. I love how you put that. So, all right, we'll keep on going. This is good.
Okay. So, even though that was money that I can afford to lose, like I sat in front of my computer and I said, hey, you know what? This is money. I already know I'm going to lose. So let's put it this way. Let me trade with no emotions. Because all the videos and everybody's saying no emotions, no emotions. Clay, I get into my first trade and I remember even the ticker. I can't. It was MYOS, and I've never felt like that before. My heart was gonna explode out of my chest, and I maybe at the first one I traded in the first maybe 5 minutes. I put in 6 trades in and out, and believe me or not, it was really funny. I laughed at it later on. Buying the high and selling the low all the time.
Welcome to the club.
It is funny. Yeah. And I thought I'm in control, right? And I paused. I looked at my account. I was like, no. This is no. That's not what I expected it to go. That's not the way I expected it to go. I had one win, a small, tiny win, and the rest are losses, big losses. $100 here, $130 here, $140 here. I said, okay, no, I need to pause. So I stepped back and regathered my thoughts. And I said, okay, the next day I'm going to be better. I'm going to be more cautious. I'm going to be more in control. And I was watching one of the YouTube videos that the guy in there, that's his strategy. Gap and go right at the open the gate of the bells. So, and the next day I sat in front of the computer and I was chickened out. I didn't even press the button once. And all day I was watching the stock market, but I was chickened out. That's it. My heart started pumping again without me being in a trade. And I was unsure of myself, and I was I lost confidence, and should I enter here? Should I enter? No. This is going up. No, this is going to go down. I forgot all about the support and resistance. I forgot all about the risk management. I forgot about the whole thing. Went out of my head. I was like just an emotion ball bouncing up and down. That's it. So I didn't take any trade the next day. And then gathering my thoughts again, and I said, you know what, Zach, you're a chicken guy. You are a chicken, and you don't have the guts for this. But, I have the attitude that, no, but I still want to learn, right? But one of the mistakes that I did, that I found out later, I didn't know my software enough also. And that was a big problem. And not to talk bad about Questrade, but asking them to give me some kind of a user manual for the whole software, give me every option you have. They don't have any. So every time you need something, you're in the middle of a trade or something, you're gonna need to email them or call them, and that's not convenient. So I found that later. But anyway, the day after, I said, okay, I'm gonna sit and trade, and I'm gonna be smart about it. Like, I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna be this. And again, I fail, but I didn't get as big losses as I did the first day. Okay. And my
What
confidence.
were you? So you're taking
Yeah.
these losses. What was at the time, if you can remember, what was your thought process? What were the conclusions that you came to on why you were losing? I mean, how did you kind of diagnose the trades and just figure out, okay, I lost because of this? Or I mean, what was the reasoning that you were, losing money? What was your thought process in that regard?
Yeah, definitely. I actually, in every trade, Clay, I wrote on every single trade I took, I wrote all the thoughts that I had while the trade and after the trade. And the process is, I learned one of the things that I learned is enter in with a bracket order of 1 to 2 profit ratio, profit loss ratio, 1 to 2, and just enter that. And if you hit 50% of the time, you're right, you're gonna win. And sometimes you're gonna get a streak of losers, and then it's gonna make it up. But I found out at the open gate, when you trade, that doesn't work. It shakes you out right away. And most of the time, like I would say 80% of my trades, I'm reading it right, but it's so volatile that you can't do that. It shakes you out right away. Like, even, it goes down and then goes up, and it shakes you out right and then I re-enter because it shook me out, and I know it should go in my favor, and again, it shakes me out. And then maybe tight losses, a tight stop loss, I don't know. And that's what I thought, but that's what I think it was. I'm putting two, like, I don't know. It's a different strategy when you trade at the open of a gate. It's really volatile, and my trading style wasn't, I think, fit for that. Even though I thought that's the only thing I know. But that's the reason I think I was losing. By that time, I was still learning patterns and other, the ascending triangle and this, but it doesn't happen. These kind of patterns, they don't happen at the open bell, right? So I started, after that, I started waiting. I said, you know what? I'm not going to trade anymore at the open of the gate. Like, I'm not going to do this anymore. I can't. My feelings are up and down, and it's just too much for me. I realized that at my like third day, and third day of trading, I said, no, it's not for me. I have to change this. So, and I'll be honest with you, every time I in the morning, when I wake up 2 hours prior to the bell ringing, and I do my research on which ones are gapping up, which ones is this. And I didn't have any chat rooms or anything I'm just doing it on my own. And my software actually gives me the percentage that's the stocks are moving. So I wasn't using even trade ideas or any of that scanners. I'm just watching which ones are gapping up, and just watch the same stock all day long until it forms something that I think I can do better. So I started doing some winners, but trading maybe 1 hour later or half hour later, after the whole volatility just slows down a little bit. And I started doing some winners, and I still had some losers, But at the end of December, looking back on my trades, I noticed, okay, my losers are way bigger than my winners. So the percentage that I had 35% winners and 65% losers of my trades, but also my losers are bigger than my winners. So I said, you know what, Zach, you know what, I need help. And I have no one helping me. So I realized that it was a mistake to start on my own. So I realized I needed a mentor. And yes, my account went down $1,000. So I $1,600, and it like from 2,600 to 1,600. I said it's okay, but I need help. I'm not gonna do this anymore. And that started looking out for mentors. And I came across a couple, and you're one of them. But honestly, I'm not saying that because we're on this show or I'm with you right now. But you were the most convincing, and I like blunt people, and I like people that actually gives you straight answers. And I remember sending an email to 3 different people, and you're one of them, explaining my situation, explaining my goals, and explaining what I want to do. And the one of them answered is like, "Oh, bro, I'll make you the richest person if you have that attitude. You'll be the rich guy." I didn't like that. And the second one told me, "Get out of this. It's not for you." And you told me, your email was in the context, not the exact words, but I can teach you how to trade, and the rest is on you. And I said, this is the guy that I need to be working with. But at the same time,
I can't believe the one guy replied back and was like, "I'll make you rich, blah." Wow. Well,
yes,
that's crazy that people reply back. And I mean, also the other guy was just like, "No, this isn't for you." I mean, I do remember because you late. Now this is all coming out. I'm like, why does that sound? But yes, you are the person that sent me. So for listeners' context sake, when Zach says he sent out a plan, it's not like he means like a couple sentences. No, you really put time and you map things out and what you wanted to accomplish. So to think that somebody was just like, no, just get out. I mean, that's ridiculous because by no means of what you mapped out was it unrealistic. It's not like you were sitting there saying, I have $50 and I want to be driving a Lambo by the end of the month. It's not, I mean, at that point, I would have also told you, been like, no, get out of the market. You have the wrong mindset. You have only $50. That's just not going to work. But I mean, from what you laid out, so I'm shocked by both of those people's replies. Actually, that one was just, "I'll make you rich," and the other guy's like, "No, just get out." It's that doesn't. Yeah, my guess is the guy that told you to get out was like, "Well, this person doesn't have enough money to pay me anyway, so whatever." But yeah, that's crazy. Well, good. I'll let you continue. This is I thank you so much for being candid. I want to make that note because I guarantee you there are listeners out there that probably can relate to exactly what you're talking about, where you're getting in, your account's fluctuating all over the place. But good on you for not letting it go to zero like some of our past guests have done. So, I mean, at least you knew to tap the brakes before the 2,600 went all the way down to zero.
Yes. And also, I wanted to mention, and I hope I'm not offensive to any of the listeners in any way. But one of the challenges that I have is that I have some restrictions due to religion background. I'm a Muslim, and I hope other Muslims would be hearing this because there is challenges, and my odds are a little bit lesser as far as my knowledge for now. Now, maybe later on, because I'll get into the courses later, what I'm taking, but I knew there's some stocks that I cannot trade, especially the ones that deals with interest, banks. It's against my beliefs, and in which I respect everybody's beliefs. 100%. But it was one of my challenges, and I explained it in the email. And I actually went and searched over 6,000 companies, and knowing which ones I can trade with and which ones I can't. And I also can't use a margin account, and I also can't short because it involves interest. So I have to be a long bias in my trading. But later on, I learned other stuff, which I will come across maybe later this conversation. But at that point, I was also researching all the companies and pulling out their financial statements and seeing if they're in debt or they're paying interest or they lend people money or this. I had to research every company and to see if it's Islamic compliant or not. And that was one of the challenges, and that's always going to be a challenge, because I found out 20% of that 6,000 are Islamic compliant and the rest are not. So a lot of time I see people playing a stock and it's going really well, but I'm not involved in it. And but that's a challenge I know I'm going to go through. And that's what I liked about your reply, Clay, that when I explained that, and that's I believe the guy that told me that get out, it was because of that reason. Him telling me also, it's not for you, just get out, don't do it. And what I liked about you is like, no, I'll teach you how to trade, the rest is on you. Like like basically what I felt that you're telling me is like, Zach, I'm not the market is out there, I teach you how to trade the market. Now it's up to you what to trade and what not to. I like that kind of teaching. This is the honesty. That's how I got it. Like, I mean, and that's why you really pulled me in. But at that point, I was also skeptical because I was afraid to pay anybody money that at one point they're going to be vanishing on me. That what happened before, right?
Oh yeah, that's totally understandable.
Yeah. So what I said, okay, what I'm going to do before I even buy his courses, I'm going to try and invest $100 into the inner circle. And I want to see what's going on there. That's how you're going to know if it's a legitimate, it gives you a clue. So because I was skeptical, I went for the inner circle first and I paid my $100. And for the next 3 trading days, I was watching your inner circle chat room. I like the strictness in the actual in the, what do they call it?
The pits. Yeah, the pits.
Yeah, in the pits. And I like the relaxation that's in the lounge. So I was like, this guy manages his thing really well. And I also started looking how many members, how many this, how many that. Name, like, I mean, they're real people. It's okay. He's legitimate. That's it. So that's maybe before I sent you the email, maybe in 2 days. I can't remember, but exact dates. But anyway, and that's when you recommended taking it because I don't have the lump sum money. You recommended taking it portions and segments, and I started taking your courses in January the 4th. Or the 5th. I can't remember what date exactly, but somewhere in that time frame. But I was still trading, and I was still trading, but I was going. Okay, my commission was $5 an entry and $5 an exit, and it was too much based on the cash I'm trading with. And a lot of time I'd be trading, I'd make a winner, a small tiny winner, but it's a loser, or not enough. And but my working on that, my winning were getting way better than my losers. Not in the sense of the profit loss ratio is the winner ratio and loser ratio. Like, I mean, the percentage of winning and losing. It started getting up from 35 to 41 in January. And then I realized with Questrade, there's a type of a commission plan that you pay 1 cent per share. So I called them and I tried to change it, and they said they won't change it until February 1st. By that time, my account. Sorry, I'm not organized with my thoughts, so I'm just gonna go back. So I started taking your course, robotic trading. Okay, and I loved the name, robotic trade. I loved it. You know, that's a big sales pitch. I'll tell you that, man. It sucks me right in.
Good. Thank you for the
Yeah,
feedback.
I mean, man, robotic trade. That's what I wanted. That's exactly what I wanted. I want to be a robot. I want to be able to control my feelings, my just think charts and think technical and just do this. And it did help. And along with your YouTube videos that I pretty much watched every single one of them. And I've changed. You helped me change. And you helped me to think about things differently. I like about the risk management that you talked about. The videos about the red light and the yellow light and I mean, the way you put it, it just caught my eyes really well. And yes, I was still trading, but I was starting to get more comfortable in pressing the button. And I remember when one of the videos that you said, when you don't press a button, you're missing out on a trade. When you know it's a really good setup. Now, at the same time, you know it's overdoing it. Sometimes no trade is a good trade. So I needed to find the balance between those two statements. And it did help. So my ratio of percentage of winning started going up. Now my account's still going down because the profit loss ratio, I'm still till now struggling with that. But I didn't finish the course in order for me to reach out for help because, to be fair, I'm not. I had a lot of question when you're doing one of the sessions, and I know you say on each session you say if you have any questions, take a screenshot and email me. But at the same time, when I listen to the second session, most of the time you're answering my questions that I had from the first session. So I just found I don't want to get ahead of myself too much. So I finished the robotic trading, and I purchased then the what is it called, the
skill sharpening.
Skill sharpening. Sorry, I'm blanking out because I'm on radio thing. It's just
No, that's
yeah,
fine.
the skill sharpening.
That's fine. There's a lot of courses anyway, so heck, I can barely remember them, so it's totally understandable.
Yeah, so I got into the skill sharpening. And it is a skill sharpening. I learned from the skill sharpening really how to, like, you made it seem like it's a story, and it is a story. I start reading differently. And when I finished my skill sharpening, I finished it like 10 days ago, or maybe a week ago, I would say. I had time a little bit to actually advance in that. And I found out about myself that, yes, I'm reading things right when it comes to support, resistance, trend. And I have a good vision of the chart. But I'm having a very big problem with entries and exits. Like, I mean, entering right and exiting right. Now I know the chart is going to go into that direction, and most of the time it does, and sometimes it doesn't. As you say, like, sometimes it's not going to do it. But the way I'm reading it, learning from the skill sharpening, it's going good. Like, I mean, but I'm having a problem with the entry and exits. Anyway, but I learned a lot, and I'm happy where I'm at, but I'm also eager to learn the rest and get into because I got way ahead of myself in a lot of things, and I'm starting to back up, and that's where the affected. Yes, I read a lot of books, and I thought I know enough, but I realized I really don't, especially after I take the courses.
And I read books too, and there's something about a picture on a page that's not moving, that's not doing anything, and somebody's talking about it, and then all of a sudden you get into you're looking at a chart and your money's on the line, and that picture is now moving, and that moving picture is causing you to lose money or gain money. And I mean, I'll never say that books are totally worthless, but I will say this, that if trading was as easy as going to the library or buying some books, then I think we could all, on just a very common sense level, agree that failure rates would not be as high as 90%. I mean, I think we could agree maybe failure rates would be at, I don't know, 70%. Heck, maybe even 50% if trading was as, because I mean, there are books all over the place. But if there's a little bit more to it than books. But for full disclosure's sake, I'm also not saying, but you have to buy my course and that 100% guarantees. I'm not saying that either. I will teach you, but that doesn't mean that I'm guaranteeing that you're going to be able to go and just like you can learn how to drive, but just because you learn how to drive, that doesn't mean that you're not going to go do something stupid and get yourself in an accident. I mean, at some point in time, you're the ones pressing the button. So, but yes, books. If it was easy as books, there'd be a little bit higher success rates out there, and that's I don't think that's a very extreme statement on my part. It's funny though, Zach. You mentioned, you make me feel good about myself with the way I've organized this courses, because what you're describing is, you're seeing the patterns, you're understanding the story, but I those entry points, that's kind of. Well, you haven't taken RVR trading yet, right?
Yes, I did not.
So, but I know you're going through the payment, the pay as you go, and that next set of courses that you will unleash is the RVR trading, and the actual slogan on that one, the little catchphrase is "Learn when and where to buy and sell." So the picture is getting narrower and narrower for you. So that's kind of what you're seeking. So that makes me feel good, because that's what you should be seeking right now. And that's what's coming your way with that, the next, payment that is made is RVR trading. And you're going to start to learn all about what actually qualifies a good entry point versus, that entry point actually doesn't make sense. So, I mean, you're well on your way, and you're sitting exactly where you should be. You are still trading right now with real money. Is that accurate?
Yes. But after February 1st, my commissions changed to 1 penny a share, and it did help with the commissions, because my commissions was eating the whole thing.
$5 is crazy.
Yes, yeah, and but I'll tell you something. After finishing the skill sharpening, my winners went up. In the past few days, I've been having 4 winners, and 1 loss. I mean, my account balance went down to $600 or even $500, and of course they took the $89 fee, and but it went up back to $700, and I'm really proud of myself with a $500 or 500 and maybe $60 or 536 dollars. It went back to $700 because of my little winners, and yes, the account got way smaller, but I can really see the picture better. But I know I still have a lot to learn. I always know that. So, but yes, it's changing, and that's what's giving me some happiness now. I'm not focused on the money. I'm focused on my skill sharpening, and my trading, and my ratios, and I don't know if I'm doing it right, but I still didn't finish the course. So Like, I mean, I'm going along with the course. I'm not planning to add any money to my account until this course is fully finished and I'm confident in what I'm doing.
Yeah, I was going to say, because you've already said that this is money you can totally afford to lose, and because now you're starting to get a groundwork of education, then that's fine. But yeah, I would definitely say do not add anything until you get through everything and can start attending the live webinars. And because within those live webinars, when you eventually get to that part of things, yeah, I mean, I'm always asking questions, and I kind of turn that into almost a big test, if you will. And you'll be able to see. You'll be do I know how to answer that? And, okay, well, I don't know how to answer that. And I mean, so you'll really be able to see, do you really understand the big picture or don't you? And you're on your way there. There's no doubt about that. And that's great to hear that your account is starting to grow back again. But yeah, I'm also glad to hear that you realize that you still do have room to go as far as courses and, you know, the knowledge and stuff that you'll be gaining. So from that perspective, I would fully support your idea and your current plan of not wanting to add any more money because, yeah, get through everything and then you can focus more so on adding more money. But as of right now, I'd say you have a good game plan going forward.
Yeah, and also uh, even with even with your videos on going back to some videos that I watched before and I didn't understand at that time, and now I'm re-understanding because I know I have a better base with your courses. And I didn't know much about the options that you have, a course of options, and when I watch those videos that you have, it, this is something, man. I mean, I'm eager, but I don't want to go so fast the same way I did with the books and the videos before. I want to make sure what every course that I'm taking, I'm absorbing it, and I'm taking notes. And I have on your courses, I have believe me or not, over I would say around 50 pages of notes so far. And
Good. You're paying attention then. That's good. I like to hear that. You're working hard. I love it.
yes, and I know there's a lot of repetitive things that you're saying, and you're doing it on purpose so it sinks into our head while we're trading. And I keep writing it again. And sometimes, yes, I might get a little bit, anxious to know something different. But if I would get to that point, I would pause my video and have a break, and then get back to something, even if we had to redo it again. And until I want to give you the right to teach your course, and the right to have a good student too, in order for me to be able to get to what your goal is as a teacher. I hope I explained it right.
No, you explained it perfectly. I understand. And as somebody that's put together the content, it makes me feel good that you're respecting it to the point where you're taking it very serious and you're taking notes. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm offended, but sometimes people, they get in and they're asking me all these questions and it's like, I don't listen. Please ask me questions, but these questions you're asking me, are you sure you're listening to the course, or are you just listening to it while you're talking on your phone and watching, some cable TV show? I mean, you are definitely going about it in a very slow, methodical way, like 50 pages of notes. And I respect that. That makes me feel good because that's how it needs to be. And I mean, because there's a lot of time that I put into that stuff, and sometimes it's just like, okay, I get it. I'm going to still help you because you've paid me, but maybe you might want to slow down with some of these questions you're asking me. But yeah, Zach, you're essentially the exact opposite of that, which is great to see. But and kind of a question I had, because I'm curious. So because of your religion and beliefs, is it saying that you can't make money off of stocks going down at all, or you just can't make money off of stocks because that would require shorting, which requires a margin account? How does that actually work?
It's because of the interest and margin account. As far as I know, yes.
Okay. Well, then, as you Now, I'm not trying to rush you into anything, but when you do get to options, you're going to learn about a few different mechanics out there that you can actually still be able to make money from stocks going down. And you can do it all in a cash account. You don't need a margin account or anything like that. So you're going to get more knowledge, and you're going to see that, hey, I actually can make money shorting, but you're not really shorting because that's just there's some functions of options that are going to allow you to make money from stocks going down that don't require interest and they don't require a margin account. So I guess.
Yes. And it got me excited when I watched that video.
Okay. So you are aware of that already then. Okay. I wasn't quite sure if you had known that or not, but well, that's good.
Actually, I knew it not long time ago. Not long time ago, Clay. Like I knew it maybe I would say 2 weeks ago, and it really got me pumped up. And at one point, I wanted to purchase another course, and so I can get to. I said, no.
Yeah,
hold on.
It's coming. Yeah. It's coming, dude. Just keep going. I'm glad you refrained, though. I'm glad you held back because the options courses they'll be coming. But so good. Just keep on the path you're on because the way you've described everything and now what you're wanting with, like you said, entries and exit points, that is exactly where you should be in kind of your understanding. And then I feel like I'm kind of missing something. Yes, you are missing something, but don't worry. There's something that's coming next to kind of plug in those holes that you feel like you're missing right now. Wow, we've been talking over an hour now. And I mean, so do you have any goals in terms of when you want to be done with all the courses, or are you just, I'm not putting any sort of time pressures on me. I want to just take my time and just do what I got to do. Or do you have any sort of, general longer term kind of roadmap of when you want to be done with all the courses? Or I guess walk me through that quick.
Yeah. I will, Clay. I do have goals, but 2 days ago, I went into I bumped into a video of yours about setting a numbered goal about how much I'm going to make money in this. So it got me a little bit thinking, and you are right, definitely right. People will have to force trades and stuff like that. So, but back to your question. I do have a plan that by August I have to have everything finished as of courses, and I do have a lump sum of money saved in my it's called the TFSA account. It's like an IRA account in America, but a lump sum of money to start with. After I finish my course, around $40,000, and but I have to finish my courses before, and I by August, and then I want to set up myself in September to deposit my money and become a trader, and I have some kind of a job lined up in Lebanon that I want to move in September to Lebanon. It's a teaching, so so far I'm halfway in finishing my master's in business, and in Lebanon, not in Canada. So I have a teaching job there to start in September, and it's in the morning. And lucky me that I can start the trading. It's at 4:30. It starts at 4:30 in the evening in Lebanon. So I want to be able to do both, and basically that's my goal. And if it's going to take more time, so be it. I'm not going to rush myself into. I'm going to listen to you, Clay. That's basically what it is. And the reason I actually volunteered to come here is to make the commitment to myself, and I know it's public. And that's the only thing that holds me accountable on what I say. I want to become successful, and I want to do it right, and I want to listen to my mentor, and that's the only way he can help me, is for me to listen to him. Yes, I might have. The good thing about your way of teaching is you don't tell people, oh, do this, don't do this. You always give options. You have the option to do this. It's your choice. It's like when someone asks you, how much money do I need in order to start trading? Well, no, I watched that video. There's a lot of variables there. I can't tell you. You have to make your decision based on different variables, and I like that. And that's what I want to do. I want to be a really good student and commit to myself, and I want to be living with my kids. It's been 6 years. I go twice a year for a month, and it's eating me alive. Like, my kids are growing without me being beside them, and it's a situation that I really am not gonna explain over the broadcast, but I have to be there. I can't be here, so my family has to be there, not here. So and I want to be able to make it work. I hope that answered your question.
It did, and I mean, I've always respected you for that reason, and you're just doing what you got to do. But I mean, as a father of 4 kids, I'd like to say I understand what you're going through, but I don't know. I can only imagine what that's like, and I'm assuming, like you said, it would be tearing you apart. I believe that for a fact that you're not exaggerating at all, because that's got to be rough. So I mean, but I commend you for just no excuses and doing what you got to do, and I love how you're coming on. You're doing this because it's now public. So it sounds like you're all going to be all for members when they see Zach in the room. If we press you, hey Zach, how are you doing? What's going on? That's what you want. You want us to hold you accountable, right?
100%.
Good. And I know you said you like blunt, so we will keep it also very blunt with you and just, hey, how you doing? You said you're going to be doing this. Are you still doing it? And I will gladly hold you accountable, Zach. Especially because I know your current plan, the way you're talking, and your ambitions, and like I said, your ultimate goal is just to get back with your family. Yeah, I mean, why would people not want to hold you accountable and keep you on the pathway that's going to give you the best chance at making all that happen? So, well, we will definitely have to have you back on again in the future, and get an update on all this. But yeah, thank you for sharing so much stuff. But we got a few final questions here. Although Ches could not join us, you did mention that you've listened to several podcasts before, so I know that Ches has a time machine. So I'm going to put on one stipulation here. You can't go back in the time machine to that one, scumbag company and not give them the money. You can't do that. But if you could go back into the time and give yourself one bit of advice, what would that bit of advice be?
It's a small one, but it's for every trader out there that's trying to start new. I would give that to myself as well. Take the courses before you trade. Learn it all before you trade. I thought I learned it. I thought I knew. I didn't. I wish if I had a back time machine, yes, I would have with a heartbeat, without any one trade. I would have, or I would have traded like small, just to get the feel of the market. But because it does help, I do admit it does help. But you need the course. You need a structured course, and you need something put all together, because I was all over the place. I thought I knew it and I didn't, and I wish I can go back and not lose that $2,000 right now. But it's not a big deal. But I wish I could have done that better. And Clay, I wish I knew about you before a long time, and about your courses and about your teachings. And I don't know how that skips people. I don't know.
I suppose later is better than never. So I'm glad we eventually hooked up, and I'm glad you chose out of the 3 people. I'm glad I was one of those 3 people, because hey, now we're talking on a Saturday afternoon and hanging out and having a good time. So, but yeah. Now, I did not pay you to say any of that, right? Let's just put that out there publicly too. You're not paid to say that?
Not at all.
Okay, there we go. So before all the trolls come and it's all rigged, it's all, well, people will still say that it's scripted, but I mean, internet trolls are going to be internet trolls. That's the way the internet works. But we'll just have to let them have their way and accuse us of that all being scripted. But for the fun questions now, before we bring this all to an end. So do you even watch movies? You're working 16 hours a day. I mean, do you have a favorite movie?
I'm I do have a favorite movie. I used to watch a lot of movies before. My favorite movie is The Gladiator. I know your favorite movie is Braveheart, but I loved that movie. Even The Patriot, I loved that movie as well.
That's a good one.
But Gladiator, but the Gladiator was my number one.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, Russell Crowe. That's
Yeah.
that's definitely approved. Well approved movie. That is a good one for sure. What about food and dessert?
My friend, I'm a Mediterranean guy. I love Mediterranean food. I hope everybody tastes the shawarma.
I've never had shawarma.
Shawarma.
Shawarma. Yeah, I've never had it. I can't pronounce it. Maybe we're just not, or maybe we are meant for each other. But I would like to try it at some point.
Clay, you what I know is you reside in Michigan, right?
That is, yep, correct.
Well, you gotta drive to Dearborn. I'm telling you that, man. There's awesome restaurants there, and you can taste all kinds of Mediterranean food there.
That's I grew up in Toledo, Ohio, which is like 20 minutes. So I'm actually not that far away from Dearborn. So I may have to take that bit of advice and put it into action at some point because I'm all for trying different foods and experimenting and all that good stuff. What about sweet stuff? What do you like for dessert?
I like I don't know if you've heard of baklava. It's a Mediterranean sweet. I'm sorry, it's all Mediterranean stuff.
Sounds like, no, I'm all for, I mean, don't get me wrong. I like when people just say brownies, ice cream. That's great too. But I'm all for hearing about new different types of foods too. So if that's what you like, then that's what you like. That's just something that it sounds like I'm going to need to try. So I'll put it on the to-do list. And then finally, what do you, again, if you're working 16 hours a day and I'm assuming you're sleeping the other, what do you like to do for hobbies though?
I used to play a lot of sports, volleyball and soccer, and I do play music. It's Mediterranean music. I do. I do draw really well. I draw with charcoal. I have lots of drawings. I do. But I lately with my work, I'm not pursuing all my hobbies, but I do have a lot of hobbies, my friend.
You may be the first person to ever say you draw with charcoal. That's definitely a skill. That's something. I mean, I guess I probably could do it, but it would be like a stick man with a very basic sun, a nice sun circle, draw some lines out with my charcoal. But I'm sure yours are a little bit more advanced than that. But
oh yeah, I do. Yeah. I do animals, and nature, and they're really good. Like I do. I drew my son. I drew my son with a charcoal.
Wow.
Yeah.
You should send me. If you have the ability, send me. I'd love to see a picture of one of these. If you could email it or post it in the chat room or something. If you have that ability, that sounds pretty intense. I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to, but.
No. I can.
I'd like to see that. That sounds super interesting. And then final question here for you, Zach. 3 words, and those 3 words would need to be what you would associate with what you believe it takes or what a successful trader would have.
Discipline, knowledge, and action.
There you go. I mean, I like it. You got to take action at some point. You can't always, but it's also got to be the right type of action. But
with knowledge and discipline. Take the action with knowledge and discipline.
There you go. I like it. I like that a lot, actually. Well, I don't think we could have. See that? I wish I could say that was scripted because that actually makes a whole lot of sense. But no, I promise none of this was scripted at all. Well, Zach, again, thank you very much for volunteering and for taking time out of your Saturday afternoon and for just doing this to flat out call yourself out, to hold yourself accountable. I love it. Some members we try, and they would make awesome guests, and oh no, and they would throw up every excuse in the book. And here is somebody that's saying, no, my main motivation for doing this is I just want to call myself out and hold myself accountable. So that's awesome, and I totally respect you for it. And as I mentioned earlier, we'll definitely have to have you back. But thank you again for hanging out and sharing your story.
And thank you, Clay. First of all, thank you for the microphone. So that was a good. I'm not going to return it, buddy. It's beautiful.
I was going to say, don't be thanking me too much. You should have read the fine print. Now you have to come back on whenever we need you. I mean, yeah, you didn't read the fine print. You talked about that scam company. Sorry, buddy, you just got scammed by us. Now if we need you tomorrow, you're coming tomorrow because we know you have a mic. So sorry you didn't read the fine print about getting that mic. Oh man, hook, line, and sinker. But you are welcome. And yeah, I don't want you to send it back. It's yours. But you are welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you are welcome.
And thanks for being a leader. We need that.
I appreciate that. And, but I also say that, I mean, you can have leaders, but you can also, I mean, I don't know. It would be hard to be a leader if you got a bunch of blind sheep, lazy sheep. And as you know, being part of the community, I mean, and you're a perfect example of the people that are in the community. I don't know. At this point, I suppose I'm a leader in some, but I mean, we have such a good culture already that it's the members that really, I think, make up the group now at this point where it's kind of I don't know. It's like a creature that is self-sustaining now, because when you get enough people with the type of attitude that you have, it really just does become an organism of its own, because there's no attitude of dependency. As you've always said, I don't want to depend on somebody. Just somebody, please teach me. And that's really what we have, is a teach me environment, which creates a lot of people that just, I mean, they can survive and thrive on their own. And that's the goal. But so I want to thank you for just having the attitude that you have, because I think that the world could use a little bit more people that adapt your viewpoint of no excuses. I'm doing what I got to do, and it is what it is. So yeah, that's sounds like we really did create a win-win deal. Everybody is walking away with this, hopefully in a better spot, but including the listeners also. So Zach, thank you again, and we'll have to have you back at another time.
Thank you, Clay. Thank you.
And before you go as a listener, a final few things. First off, if you are listening to this on YouTube, be sure to check out the rest of the channel. Like Zach said, there are lots of videos that he's watched. And if you're new, it'll just get you familiar with my teaching style. Maybe you think I'm the worst teacher ever, and that's fine. Good news is there's plenty of other teachers out there, but there's lots of other stuff on the YouTube channel besides just, the podcast here. So make sure to check it out. Hopefully you decide to ultimately subscribe. If you're listening on iTunes or any of the other podcast players, please subscribe. And if you could leave us a positive rating and comment, that helps us out quite a bit. And then finally, if you're listening at claytrader.com on the show notes page, click that like button, or not click the like button, click the share button, and then down below the thumbnail image, leave us a comment. And we would love to hear from you. I will read it. I will reply. And we really try our best to be as interactive as possible. So thank you again to Zach. Thank you again to you as listeners. We will see you back next week.
This has been the Stock Trading Reality Podcast. Thanks for taking the time to hang out. To learn more about Clay and the Clay Trader community, including the trading team, premium training, and more, visit claytrader.com.